Here is Coelophysis. Coelophysis was sometimes cannibal. Allosaurus attacking a Stegosaurus. Really awesome. Fight to the finish.
Oh, he's cool too. I've never seen him before. Look, this is Diplodocus.
Diplodocus.
Completely accurate reconstruction.
Intense here.
Massive dinosaur.
Can you get a picture with me and Dad? Like right
Yes.
now?
Daddy?
Dad, me and you are gonna get a picture in front of the two dinosaurs.
Okay, I'm just getting its tail.
Put it down.
Come on, I need your narration. Tell me the story.
And they don't. It's called Australia. They are essentially stomach muscles that can help it digest food, but they're also big muscle attachment areas for places like the arms and
Yeah, they
legs.
hold in the internal organs.
Yep, and they attach to the pelvis.
Yep.
Yeah. And then Allosaurus, so the way it attacked, it had a pretty weak bite, about had the same bite force as a lion. So the way it
Right.
would attack is it would use its head as an axe, and since it had really strong neck muscles,
Uh-huh.
it would slam its upper row of teeth into
Right.
its prey.
There's a
But of
good
course, you can't really do that with Stegosaurus because of
look
its
at those
bites.
teeth. At least 3 or 4 inch teeth,
So-
and then you have these powerful arms. Would they be able to use these arms? These arms are bigger than T-Rex.
Much bigger than T-Rex, but
Yeah.
yeah, I could probably use it like an axe to kill its prey.
Oh, nice. Huge muscle attachments on the neck
So
there.
Stegosaurus wouldn't really stand a chance here. But
No.
as you can see on the scapula right there,
Yeah.
how it has a bit of damage. That probably could be from maybe the Allosaur falling, because it doesn't seem to be.
Or maybe he got in a fight with a rival.
No, a fight with a rival will leave
No.
more bite marks.
Okay.
Or it could be a puncture wound from one of the Stegosaurus dagomizers,
Mm-hmm.
which is on the tip of its tail.
Let's go take a
I think
Ornithischians.
they could be like Heterodontosaurus. No, it's not.
What about this guy right here? Is the baby
Baby
Stegosaurus?
Stegosaurus.
Wow.
And the largest dagomizer we have from a Stegosaurus is about 3 feet long.
Okay.
Saw them like in the movies like Jurassic Park where they scaled these things to be huge, which they really weren't as big.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park Lost World, the biggest Stegosaurus are given like sort of a puppy-shaped snout.
Yeah.
If you just look at the skull, you can see it's not really like that.
There is no way. Sorry, Jurassic World fans. Baby Stegosaurus is different.
And so this is
The
70
duckbills.
This is pretty old. 66 million years.
Late Cretaceous.
The Hell Creek Formation and also the Lance Formation. It's native to South Dakota, Montana.
South Dakota, Montana, found there. Plant eater. Yeah. Big, tall hind legs. There's Triceratops.
So they had these 3 toes, and then they would connect together with a sheet of keratin to form a hoof.
Yeah.
And then those three toes would also have hooves, and they had hooves, kind of like horses.
Yeah.
It's more effective than having toes.
Oh, what's this little guy harassing him?
And not Hadrosaurs had hooves.
Charlie, who's that?
Oh, that's a baby.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
baby Maiasaura, not Edmontosaurus.
Admiros.
So formation.
Whose
Look
eggs
like,
are
they
they?
look kind of like
Doesn't say.
Camptosaurus. So
They could be. They could be the
early
Stegosaurus.
Hadrosaur.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I could be completely wrong on that too.
Dinosaurs in Denver.
Are these all real?
Here's your list of dinosaurs in Denver.
But this is a mummified Ankylosaurus dinosaur tail. It's a very important specimen. Of course, it's cast, but so this specimen was found in Canada, specifically Saskatchewan. It was found of Euoplocephalus, and it really helps us understand ankylosaurid and nodosaurid evolution, how they diverged, because we could see there's two main bulbs which nodosaurs have. You have those two, and then one at the bottom.
Yeah.
And these main bulbs are used for
Didn't he
prey.
have the spikes on his tail too? Like the
No.
gray spikes up there?
No.
Ankylosaur? No?
No, they just had sort
So
of tails like that.
whose tail is that?
Euoplocephalus.
Okay.
It could break Daspletosaurus's legs.
Okay, who's this gray?
Brachiosaurus.
Oh, Brachiosaurus.
Yep.
Plant eater.
So the way it was presented in Jurassic World Park is that it has a shrink-wrapped skull along the top, actually, right here. It would have muscle attachment,
Yeah.
and it would be a lot fatter of a dinosaur. So it would have lips covering its teeth. Same thing with T-Rex, and the teeth would never be exposed.
Yeah, you
And
can
then-
tell that he had lips because of the holes above his teeth.
Blood vessel connections. So air sacs would be stored in there, and the nasal passages would go to the olfactory bulbs, which would lead to the brain.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's had a decent sense of smell, not too good, but Tyrannosaurus, you can see you have the nose, and it goes all the way up to these huge olfactory bulbs, which are great at smelling.
Those right there.
Yep. They would give the animal a
If
great
you
sense
look
of
at the
smell.
video,
And then also the vision, they had very good vision. They could probably see 2 or 3 times better than a modern day hawk. So like eagles and hawks, falcons.
yeah.
that
So it doesn't matter if you don't move, he's going to see you. There's Pachycephalosaurus right there.
And that Edmontosaurus annecten is one of my favorite dinosaurs.
This guy right here.
Yeah. They're often called duckbills. but
Let's
they
see if you can
really-
identify the legs that they have.
Small sauropod right here. Maybe juvenile.
Juvenile sauropod, plant eater.
Maybe a juvenile Brachiosaurus, like very young. Then that is an Edmontosaurus annecten's leg. And then we have a large
Edmontosaurus,
Megalosaurian theropod, or probably Allosaurus.
Allosaurus up here.
Yep.
Meat eater. Oh yeah, you can tell by the claws because he's going to dig into the prey. Always look up. You'll see the pterosaurs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing about Edmontosaurus is that it didn't really have a ductile. It had a sheath of keratin that would go down the snout, and it
Yeah.
would use to chomp plants.
Pterodon.
Completely different proportions than in the movie.
Yeah, we're going to have to go,
They were total fish eaters, never went after dinosaurs.
and they could never carry a person. Who's this guy?
That was.
It looks like a relative of today's sea turtle.
It's on the tip of my tongue. I'm actually not sure about that. I'm not too fond of turtles.
Definitely a relative. Nice display of multiple mosasaurs.
Only one mosasaur at the top, Platycarpus, and then you have 2 large predatory fish.
Okay.
Okay. There's a lot of species of ammonites. It's not, you don't just have circular ones.
Yeah.
You have weird cone-shaped ammonites.
They're not going to go look around.
The purpose of them is there for display.
Yeah.
It doesn't really have anywhere it can propel itself, like move. So we
I
think
thought they
the way,
propelled themselves
we think
with
the way
water.
That, we think the way that ammonites moved is that they would suck in water and then shoot it out like a jet stream.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Kind of like today's squid, or
They're pretty close.
even an octopus.
Yeah. They're better preserved, I guess you could say. And
Yeah, and they've been shined
They
up
were-
by
they-
a paleontologist.
no, they were preserved in these minerals, and then they naturally look like this because of the minerals they were buried in. And they soak in the surrounding minerals, causing them to give off
So you don't think they polish these at all before
No.
they put them in the cake?
an iridescent water.
I don't know about
Of
that.
course they.
Some coral right there.
I'm not sure what that is. Fossil pearls. Ooh.
Ammonites. Let's get a little synopsis of the plant life back in the Mesozoic era.
So you have ginkgos, conifers, and cycads. So guess how many groups of these plants are alive today?
Now, ferns were definitely alive back then, 130 million years ago.
Guess how many of these plant groups are alive today?
I'm going to say 1 or 2.
All of them.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Just show. It's a little,
Oviraptor egg.
that's a little outdated though. They would have
That
had a
is still
slight
cool,
amount of feathers in the womb. Probably.
Oviraptor is very dangerous. Walking fortress.
How right above his pelvis he has sort of a pad of armor.
Yeah.
We usually think that had scales. So it's really weird. We think it could have been used for like maybe it had some sort of display feature that wasn't preserved in the bones there.
Yeah.
And so here, I'm gonna
Still incredibly hard to
I'm
kill.
gonna take you to the back of the bulbs on the sides and that very small point at the bottom.
Yeah.
This is an early nodosaur, so these are like sort of the roots of the ankylosaur family. And they're and you can see at the bottom of the tail, they're starting to develop these more club-like structures.
For defense purposes. Jingmei O'Connor just came out with her book, Flying Reptiles and Early Birds. We can't wait to read it. Modern day dinosaurs are right in front of us. Scleromoglis.
Scleromochlus had these membranes between its wrist and the top of its arm, and they would allow it to glide for short distances, escape predators. And then
Cool.
via natural selection, the membranes kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then they adapted this thing called pteroid bone, which is one of their fingers that goes back towards the neck and allows them to take flight.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's how pterosaurs evolved. And
Went to
birds kind of have a similar story. So you start with these really sort of lazy,
Insect wing.
these really lazy sort of small theropods that are trying to make their way. Birds. Yeah. Here, this is zoom in on this.
Okay.
This is the pteroid bone right here. This little finger.
Yeah.
It shoots out. It allows it to connect the membrane to the neck, then to the leg, and around here. And then, so birds, it's much different. And then we have mammals too.
So this is what paleontologists are looking at right now, right?
Yeah, birds, and then you have mammals. Mammals did something really weird to get wings. We stretched out our fingers. Birds, well, actually kind of logical. They evolved feathers, which can give them lots of lift. They evolved pterosaurs evolved a weird fleshy membrane and something called pycnofibers, which is essentially a body of proto-fur that covered the body and would give it insulation and lift. Small, non-avian theropods. Right here, Compsognathus, one of the most famous ones.
All right, there he is, Compsognathus, my favorite.
We believe Compsognathus is fully feathered. This is mildly outdated, but you can't blame it. Yeah. So probably.
So he's the green one that attacks the little girl in Jurassic World.
Yeah, and brutally murders her. All right. Anyways,
And the guy.
Archaeopteryx.
Yeah.
Archaeopteryx had these big pennacus feathers that would branch out from the side of its arms. But it wasn't really ready to fly yet. Maybe it could do short little glides, but
Yeah.
it couldn't really achieve long-distance flapping flight like modern-day birds. So then they were like, you know what, why don't we make our body plan a little lighter? And they did. With birds like Ichthyornis, which is 80 million years old, so later Cretaceous. And it was able to fly. Good.
Yeah.
And then birds started losing their teeth because they figured out beaks would be more useful than having fleshy mouths. And they were. Beaks are actually a lot more useful in many lineages of animals.
Well,
today.
they're lighter weight too.
Yeah, and they're able to crack open nuts, they're able to stab things. Like,
Yep.
it's like teeth.
So they were adjusting their diet.
Yeah, teeth
over
got better.
Finding
And
easier
beaks are actually
meal sources.
Beaks are one of the reasons they survived the KPG mass extinction. In Arizona, there's a huge deathbed on a Navajo reserve, and it's of multiple adult Coelophysis, and they all have the remains of baby Coelophysis in their stomachs.
Wonderful. Cannibals.
Yep. They would kill each other.
Well, I don't think the parents would kill their own young. Would they?
Yeah, look at the Triassic tree.
Holy cow. That's an old tree. Triceratops
So-
being prepped.
They actually have even you can probably see it. They have lots of glue on these fossils to hold them in place.
This
while
takes
they're prepping them,
forever to
because if
do.
they don't, they're probably gonna break. They're so fragile.
Yeah, so it has to be held by that structure underneath it.
Yep.
'Cause it's so brittle. 5 million-year-old dinosaurs from Madagascar.
You have Majungasaurus, which is one of the more famous.
Near Africa.
So Majungasaurus is an abelisaur. So they're pretty weird. They're their own group of dinosaurs, and they have these short, stubby arms that have surprisingly a full 360-degree movement. So they're able to like wave them around just like us.
Nice.
And we think they were probably used for display because they don't really have any other practical use. Yeah, it's like we think the
Oh
way
wait,
that,
I think we saw a video on this guy.
the way we think that they would mate is they would wave their arms around and dance, just
Oh,
like
yeah, that
like
was-
most dinosaurs.
On Apple TV. Remember they talked about this guy?
Yep. It's Carnotaurus. This is Majungasaurus. They're both abelisaurs, but yeah.
Okay. Here's the Ice Age.
I want to show something kind of cool in the prep. It's actually volunteering at the Disney Game Prep Lab. You can do it when you're 14. Welcome to the Ice
We've been to the
Age. Yeah. Yeah, the Ice Age is like this. You had whale abductions scattered around there. We don't need that. I could explain it, but it would take me a couple hours. Because whale evolution is just weird. It's just weird.
Pero claro, no fue una I can have enough time. Y así puedo aprovechar para
And it's also
sí, porque para California. Al menos que digan que va a ir para sí, y Nina pues ya no va a estar aquí.
What happened?
Look, just look at the mouth. Look at how big its teeth are.
Look. A rhinoceros-like animal. Look how big its mouth and teeth are.
It's such a weird body plan, but it worked. It darn worked. It was an interesting body plan. But yeah, evolution does that.
The bed of bones.
I've studied horse evolution
Wow.
for a while. One of the first horses, Eohippus. It's a small mammal that was killed.
Let's go take a
So
look.
paleontologists for centuries have been confused about what kind of mammal this thing is.
Yeah.
It's called Dinohyus. It's the largest of its group. And
Okay.
in total it was like 10 feet long, maybe 6 feet tall.
Wow.
And this thing's a bite force. Could like literally just crush you in half. It could turn you into a pop can.
Wow.
And it was carnivorous. And some people call it pig, but it's not. It's really, really hard.
A big meat eater.
I mean, it's like phytogenetically, it's put in its own group, but also near hippos and pigs. And we're just still not sure about it.
This guy right here?
Yeah.
20 million years ago?
And here he is. What do you think?
Wow. So here he is. In the flesh. The big pig. Could bite you in half. Carnivore.
But
Probably.
it's really not.
The
its
Nebraska
nickname-
woodlands.
Its nickname is the Hell Pig, if you wanted to know. Or the Pig from Hell.
The pig from hell. Wow.
Yeah, they're terrifying.
Would kill these antelope in one bite, crush their torsos completely.
Here, over here.
Expanding the grasslands. Nebraska. Hey, we're heading to Nebraska next.
You don't know
Horses.
Evolution. So you have Eohippus, which is the first gene of horses, and then spread out all through Africa. And then eventually made its way to Europe, and then it crossed to North America. Actually, we
Wow.
think horses originated in North America, and then they went to Spain, and then they came back from Spain with the settlers.
Sure. Makes sense. Back and forth, back and forth.
Yep.
Into the Nebraska woodlands. Ancestors of modern mammals.
Yes, tortoise. I love Gestornis.
Yeah? Tell me about Gastornis.
Gestornis? Oh my gosh, okay. So Gestornis, it is what the largest species of bird, terrestrial bird ever. And look at him. Can I please get a picture with Gestornis? Because he's like my favorite.
Okay. Let's get so it's not reflecting as much. All right, Gastornis. Back it out. Good. So tell me about it.
Okay, so, well, there's an information card right there, but I'll talk about it. Gastornis was a huge seed-eating, I'm just gonna call it big bird, but it
Vegetarian.
it eats seeds, yes.
Okay.
It's a big bird, but with small arms, and it eats seeds. And it
Very
was
famous
preserved-
specimen called the running bird
It was preserved, so it
in
looked like-
Nebraska.
It was
All right, my favorite tree, the palm tree. Wow. 50 million years ago.
it's a smaller hell pig, and we're
But
probably
they were
gonna-
social and they were pack hunters.
and they could crush bones with a bite.
Wonderful. Don't you just want to run into these guys?
And you want to know one thing?
Ancient Silurian seabed. Very cool.
This is what Indiana looks like.
Indiana, Illinois, Ohio.